Hello from the city of Tottori, Japan, up on the Japan Sea coast. I am riding a train today. It's train time again, and I'm riding a special limited express train called the Super Inaba from here down through Honshu to the other coast, the Seto Inland Sea, to the bigger city of Okayama. The trip takes about a little under 2 hours, goes through some great green, kind of beautiful low mountains. It follows rivers most of the way. I got a reserved seat with a window, so I don't know which side of the train is better for river views, but I'm hoping for some good river views out my window. It's a perfect day today. It's June, but it's not hot yet here. Like, the wind is blowing and it's just a perfect day. Couldn't have picked a better day to take the Super Inaba. I just had a meal here in the station of soba noodles, which was 430 yen. Super cheap, but filling and warm. Hey, before we go in, there's a map to get distracted by. That darker green area, that's Tottori Prefecture. The eastern part here used to be called Inaba Province, and that's one reason the train is called Super Inaba. Okay, I'm gonna go in soon and find my train and everything, find my seat. But first I gotta show you this. This, I believe what this is related to the train today, or related to the area of Inaba. Okay, here's my new friend. What's your name? Yuna. And she knows, she's an expert on Tottori. Tottori no expert でしょ? So, これは稲葉の白うさぎの物語についてですか? はい。稲葉の白うさぎ。あのうさぎの物語は有名ですか? ここで有名な? 有名です。 I was wondering, is this monument all about the story? And it is. Yuna told me. Anyway, arigatou gozaimasu. It's basically the rabbit. The rabbit and this guy who is a god, some kind of deity. There's a whole folk tale about this rabbit and this god and Inaba. Worry about that when we get on the train. I'll explain that once the scenery's rolling by. Okay, there is my train, 1354, the Super Inaba number 6, track 1. I'm actually going further than Okayama today because I'm following the route of this train as it used to be before the 80s when everything changed around here. It now stops at Okayama, but it used to go further, and I'm going further today. But first things first, where's track number 1? Well, I'm a few minutes early. I'm going to sit here in one of these wonderful seats. Just noticed something very helpful. This is a very long platform. So it starts out there, goes way over there. So if you want to stand right where your door, where your car is going to be, they have these little signs up here. Look at this sign. Super Inaba, mine's car number 2. So I just stand here, wait for my door to just show up to me. Quite a nice crowd gathered here. A lot of people going from Tottori, population 200,000, to Okayama, population 700,000. Here it comes. I hear the chime, I see the train. Okay, here it is, the super adorable 2 cars only for this whole ride. The Super Inaba to Okayama. My seat in this car number 2, is seat 12A. Hey, not bad. Home for the next 2 hours. Got a seat here and the window on the right side. And next, lots of mountains and maybe some rivers. Okay, we are underway. We're still in the city of Tottori, so it's not lovely yet. But I'll tell you some things about this train that's 142 kilometers this route, about 88 miles. It takes 110 minutes, just under 2 hours. It used to be called Inaba, just Inaba, but in 2003 they got some new diesel cars, which we're in now, and when that happened it became the Super Inaba. So this is the super version of the old Inaba. It used to be called the Sakyu, which means sand dunes. But here's the story with the rabbit. There's an old folk tale here in this part of Japan that in the Inaba times, there was this rabbit who somehow fooled some crocodiles into lining up so the rabbit could walk along their backs. And one of the crocodiles got wise to this and said, "Hey, you're taking advantage of us." So he turned around and he attacked the rabbit and tore half the rabbit's skin off. So then the rabbit was then called the Aka Hadaka rabbit, which is like red naked rabbit, because half his skin was off. So anyway, so he went to, it was like a trickster god, and the trickster god said, oh, to fix your skin, you need to go dunk yourself in the waters of the ocean. So the rabbit said, great. So the rabbit did that, but the waters of the ocean are salty, so it was extremely painful. And the trickster god said, ha 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 ha. But then the trickster god's brother, who was a nice god, I think that's how this works, he said, no, what you need to do is go to that pure water source over there and see those kind of reeds that are growing there, rub those plants onto your skin, and that will help. And it did indeed help the rabbit. That's the story as I understand it. I don't know what the moral is, or if there's more to it that I'm missing. Maybe I'm missing the most important part, but anyway, that's the story. We're stopping at our first station, which is called Koge, and it's just a small little sort of community. This whole line, this whole route, this whole area of Honshu between Tottori and Okayama, there are no like big cities. There are no even small cities really. There are what are technically cities, but they're all quite small communities. So it's really mostly just a lot of mountains and valleys, rivers, and kind of farms and things like that. It's a super, super duper lovely route. I've taken part of the route before, but I've never actually done the whole thing, the whole line to Okayama. So I'm excited to see what's happening. Unfortunately, the sun has come out. It was a little bit cloudier earlier, and I thought that was a little bit nicer. So the sun might be in my face a little bit here, but can't complain. I can complain. Maybe I should. Sigh. Alright, well, just like that, we're already out of the city area into the rural, the deep, heavy rural areas, which I think are transfixing. This is what I came for. It is quite sunny. I do see some nice rivers, so already happy here. This is pretty perfect so far. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the seat, look around the seat here and see what we have, see what we don't have in the seat. I already see something important missing. And then we'll go take a look around the train. There's only 2 cars, so I can't imagine there are many facilities at all, but there must be something. But first, here's the seat. So it's a pretty standard setup. Ooh, look at that river. So It's a pretty standard setup. There is no footrest. Nice to kind of stick your foot up on that little bar that slips down on some trains. And there is no electrical outlet. So I got my dash cam in the window again, just like old times, and just using a USB brick because no plug. That's a shame. I need a super duper Inaba. Update these. I mean, it has been 21 years. It's maybe time to update the trains. Although there aren't that many people on this train. There are 12 of these trains that run a day, 6 in either direction. So it's a pretty frequent route every single day, even weekends. But so far, I guess it's not financially feasible to upgrade them. Maybe there's not that many people that really want to plug in a dash cam the entire ride. Here's Chizu, the second of the 5 stations we stop at before Okayama. A very, very small community again. And some stations are even smaller than this. Like, there are local stations between all of these that we're flying by without stopping. I would actually like to explore some of those because they just look so remote, so rural. But there is a station there, so it's not the most rural you can possibly get. There's some kind of infrastructure to get you there, but wow. Okay, it's time to go and check out the facilities, if any, between the cars. I don't know what this little extra space is for, but here it is. And a little bit older, but still full of functions, bathrooms. You've got the toilet, but there is no bidet function. Table for changing diapers, the flush, of course, the explanation, how to use a toilet, a sink, automatic water, and soap, extra toilet paper, a trash can, a mirror. How you doing? Get straight. Still using my iPhone here. Hard to get the image straight. And no drink machine or anything like that on board. No snack service or anything. But I knew that. I suspected that, and I bought something in Tottori before we left. And I think it's snack time right now. Oh, I didn't do a whole lot of research about each station on this route, but I do know that this station we're stopping at right now, which is called Ohara, it's used on an average 92 people a day, which suggests to me that it doesn't need a stop on a limited express train like this. A local train would be enough because 92 is almost nothing. 92 people a day come here to Ohara, and maybe I should stop here on the next chance I get to investigate this place. A great tasty snack, and we are now at Sayo Station, and this is the first of two stations that are in Hyogo Prefecture. Mostly this is Tottori and Okayama, but we do wind through Hyogo Prefecture. It's a very winding route that the Super Inaba uses, which is of course in its favor. Okay, we're stopping at Kamigori Station, which is the final stop before Okayama, although I still think we have like 40 or 45 minutes left. Like most of the stops on this whole route are on the first part of the route. So after this, which is the final stop in Hyogo Prefecture, we're going to cut west back into Okayama Prefecture on our way to Okayama City, and it should be just 45 minutes of unbroken niceness, and I think some more river views before we get into the urban parts of Okayama City. And it's one of those. The old topsy-turvy, the old switcheroo. Now we're going to Okayama, and I have a view on this side. I don't know what the implications of that are, but rivers and mountains. Okay, now going backwards, it's actually about 38 minutes until we get to Okayama City, and then I'm actually going to change there and continue going on a different train line to follow what this train line used to be. And we'll talk about that when we get to Okayama Station. I've also been noticing this kind of weird effect where I can't get my eyes to focus, and I think I'm going crazy, or I think I'm losing my sight. And I just realized now that it's actually the window here makes everything out of focus. It's like kind of frosted or messed up or something, or there's some moisture or something on it. So I keep trying to focus my eyes, and then I realize, no, that's the window. So I must say, this train is fine. Perhaps time for an upgrade, JR. I think this train has done all it can for us. It needs to be upgraded with newer facilities to match the high level of other trains in Japan, even this part of Japan. Come on, JR, ball's in your court. All right, it's been buildings and parts of Okayama City, the outskirts of Okayama City, for a while here. We're going to arrive at Okayama in about 2 minutes, and the Super Inaba will be over for today, and it has been great. My search for rivers went very well. I think I saw some really great river views, especially on this last part, so it's been everything I hoped for. Anyway, next is Okayama Station. And here you go. Here it is, the Super Inaba, and we are here in Okayama Station. As I said, I think that train is all right. It's very, very good, but it's kind of it's caught between that stage of being really old, like really old and worn out, and thus kind of interesting and attractive and historical, and kind of new and modern and reliable. It's kind of just seems like something that's worn and faded, needs to be updated or something. I'm not trying to complain, I'm just saying I've seen nicer, but the route itself, instead of complaining about the Super Inaba diesel train, the route itself was superb. I mean, the mountains and the rivers, the little communities and the fields, and saw some interesting birds. Didn't really get a good video of them, but they were there. Now, the thing about the Super Inaba is that it used to be called the Inaba, and before that it was called the Sakyu. And when it was called Sakyu, it went from Tottori all the way to the actual coast here, in a little stop called Uno, just like the card game, Uno. It doesn't go there anymore, it stops here, but I'm going to switch to a different train now, and ride down to Uno, which is where I have a hotel tonight. I'm gonna go down there, find this train somewhere which leaves here in half an hour, and I think it's about a 1-hour train down to the actual coast. I'm gonna find my hotel, and from this point, everything's going to be in the extended version of the video. So I'm gonna end this video here in Okayama. So thank you very much for riding on the Super Inaba with me. If you want to see the rest of the trip down to Uno and figure all that out, go watch the extended version for that. And anyway, thanks for riding along, and I will see you in Uno one way or the other. Watch the extended and ad-free version of this video plus others on my Patreon page. Special thanks this week to Calvin Ferreira, David Richley, Jacob Fatz, Lever Wong, Matt Kane, Michael Fedor, Nathaniel Holland, Omeyer, Ray Nichols, Samantha, and Will Phillips. And thanks to subscribers to my free weekly email newsletter, which features early links to new videos and behind-the-scenes info. Links to both are in the video description. Thanks for wandering around with me.